Hi guys, Nonsu here and welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the full site build in Framer. In the part 1, we built the hero section, we built the about section, we also built the project section. In today's episode, we are going to be building the navigation. That's the top nav. We're going to make it responsive for all devices. We're going to build the footer as well, and we're going to build the contact form. So let's do a quick recap. So this is what it looks like right now. This is the hero section we built. We built the project section following that, and then we built the about section. Everything is fully responsive across tablets and mobile, as you can see. If you've not seen the part 1, please do well to see that before you see this, because I might not go in depth on the tools, because I've already talked about them in the part 1, right? So I'll just show you guys what is left. So for this tutorial, we're going to be building this nav. As simple as this looks, it might be problematic to design. So I'm going to take my time to show you guys how to lay it out and how to make it very responsive. So you see, as you can see on desktop, they have this left and right layout side by side, logo on the far left and then links on the far right. And then on the device, you have something different. You have logo on the left and then a menu button on the right? So we're going to build all of this, make it responsive inside of Framer from scratch. And if you look at the other thing we're going to be working on today, we'll see this side-by-side layout as well, a brief contact and a text, and then these social links over here. And then we have this form as well. We're going to build all of this in Framer and make them responsive and functional. So let's go back to the design. Right. So want to work on the nav right now. So before I start building the nav, I want to show you guys exactly how it works. So yeah, I've gone ahead to build this from scratch. I built this on my own, but I'm still going to show you how to build it from scratch on your own. But I'm just going to demonstrate what I'm talking about. This is what the nav looks like on desktop, on larger displays, right? So if I reduce this size to a mobile display, you will see that those links disappear, and then this menu over here appears, right? And then if you select the menu, you see that you can now see the links. There's a drop down that shows the links, and then close, you can open, you can close, and then if you increase it again, now you can see the links. I'm going to show you guys how to design this from scratch. Quick one though, I'll just try and explain the anatomy of this so that you can better understand when I'm doing it. So right now, as you can see from what we're looking at here right now, the logo, that's this name and this icon over here, they are wrapped together. They are wrapped and they are grouped together, right? And then the links are also grouped together. So right now, what's basically happening here is the logo is right here. That's the link, that icon I showed you just now. The menu icon is right here, but because it is desktop, we don't want it to be visible, basically. But we want it to be visible on mobile because we need it. So when this becomes smaller like this, it becomes visible. Now what is happening basically is, as it becomes smaller, we'll make it visible. And then we'll now change the layout from, horizontal, that's side by side, to vertical, that's top down. Understand? Let me just quickly build it and show you what I'm talking about if it doesn't make sense right now. So to build the nav, the first thing we want to do is we want to grab our text tool, and we're just going to write Nonsu Ome, or your name, anything that's what you want to write, basically. So let's zoom in a little bit. We want to make this bigger, of course, because it is bigger in the reference file, and we want to change the font to Bebas. So let's change the font first. Right, and then we're going to make this, instead of 18, we're going to make it 24. Awesome. So now this is going to serve as the logo that's on the left. Now we want to design that icon, the one on mobile. So I'll show you how to do that quickly. So go to this insert panel over here, select insert, and then you'd see this panel. Under elements, hover on icons, and while you're hovered on icons, you'd see different icon packs. I like to use material icon. You can use any one you want to use. So select, drag anyone you want to drag inside the canvas like this. So right now I dragged this one from material, I think that's from Google. Come back here, change the color to white because that's what we want. And the next thing you want to do is change the icon as well, because we want a menu icon. That's the 3 lines. So select, you can search for the icon you want. So let's just do menu. So this is it over here, select. And now the next thing we want to do is we want to wrap this icon inside a stack, because that's the way we can make it a button. So that when you click it, that drawer opens, and when you click it, it closes up. So select the icon, right click and add stack. Awesome. So we want to call this menu button, right? Select menu button. We want to make the width fit content and make the height fit content, right? The only thing that matters is the size of the icon inside the stack. So we don't need to make any we don't need to make the width and the height fixed, right? Just want it to wrap it, cover it basically. So now one thing we have to do is we have to wrap these two. Like I said in the beginning, we want to wrap these two, that's this logo and this icon, inside its own stack. So we're going to select like this, and while those are selected, right click and add stack. Awesome. Now you want to go back to the select and go back to the right panel. Width, make that fit content. Height, make that fit content. We'll change the width later. I'm going to show you guys. So right now we want to rename this because we're trying to keep things clean and organized. So come back to the layers panel, select, and I think you're going to name this let's do logo and menu like this. So now I've done the left side successfully. So what's left right now is this right side that has these 3 links: work, about, and contact. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our text tool again, click, and then just write work. We want to make this a smaller font. Let's use Manroop. So instead of Bebas New, we're going to search for Manroop like this. We're going to reduce the size to 18, or let's do 16 because 18 is too big. But we're going to increase the weight as well because this looks very thin. So weight from regular, we're going to make it let's do semi-bold. Beautiful. Now this is one of the link. Now one thing you can do is just select it, hold down Option or Alt, and click and drag. Click, hold, and drag. Leave it to duplicate it. Hold down Option again, click, hold, and drag like this. So now you've done the 3 different links. So we want to wrap these links inside its own stack. So we'd highlight all of them like this, right click and add stack. Awesome. So now while this is selected, let's just quickly rename that to links like this. And I want to change some things like the width. Instead of fixed, fit content. Instead of fixed height, fit content as well. Then scroll down, leave distribute, leave all of this. We want to change the gap because it looks really close to each other. So let's make this 24 pixels. Awesome. Now we have made the left and the right content successfully. So one thing we want to do now is wrap the left content and the right content inside a container that's going to wrap the 2 of them. So we would highlight like this, right click and add stack. By default it's going to distribute to the center, but we don't want that. We want it to distribute to the far left and to the far right, as you can see in the reference. So while that is selected, we're going to come over here. Let's leave the width as fixed. We're going to change the height to fit content, and now scroll down under the layouts panel. You would see distribute center. We don't want that. Select and then make it space between. So it's basically just going to push the content and space them evenly inside the container. If it's three contents that's inside that container, you use space between, it's going to do the same thing. So now this is what we want. And then let's call this tag container. Nice. Now this is just the container, this is not the nav. We want to now add the main nav. That's the one that's going to have the individual padding, right? So we're going to select our layout, select frame, and then draw out the nav just like this. Awesome. We're going to change the color of this to black. Nice. And let's name this navigation. Awesome. So now this is what the nav should look like. Now we want to draw this container. We want to drag it inside this nav. So we're going to just select it like this and drag inside the nav, just like this. Nice. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make the nav a stack because it's only a frame right now. So select the nav, come here and click on layout. And now we want to make the width and the height fit content because we want to apply padding to the sides of the nav. So we'll make the width fixed. Let's leave it as fixed. It's supposed to be fixed. So make the height fit. Nice. So right now it looks weird, but yeah, it's very normal. Now select the nav. We want to go to the padding and then see this second menu here, padding per side. Click on it, and then on the top we want 20, on the right we want 40, on the bottom we want 20, and on the left we want 40, like this. And now there's something else we need to do. We need to make this stack, that's the container wrapping the left content and the right content. We want to make it feel container because right now it is inside another parent container. So if you drag, I'm just trying to like explain it so it makes sense. If you drag any container or any stack inside another stack, the one you dragged inside that stack, make it feel container. And then the parents housing the stack you dragged inside should be fixed because it is independent on its own, right? So now I want to select this container inside the nav. Right now it's fixed. We don't want it to be fixed because it's inside the nav stack, the nav holder. So make it feel container. Awesome. Right now I've gotten the perfect anatomy of the nav. Right, the next thing we want to do is we want to make this a component. So select like this, right click and create component. Navigation, awesome, create. Now we're in the components page. So this is where we can add variants. We can add the tablets variant and we can add the phone variant. That's what the nav is going to look like in the different devices. We're going to focus on 3 variants: desktop variants, tablet variants, and phone variant. So we're going to name this, instead of variant 1, we're going to call this desktop, like this. And for desktop, remember desktop breakpoint is, the width is 1200 pixels. So let me show you. If you go back to the home page and you see the desktop variants like this, as you can see, 1200 pixels. If we select the tablet is 810, that's the width. And then the phone, select it, and the phone is 390. So we want the different variants of this nav to have the the same shape, the same width with the breakpoint. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So to go back to the components page, just double click on the components. That's it. Now you're in the components page. So right now this is the desktop variant. We want to make this 1200 pixels, if you remember well. So right now the width is 901. So we want to just make it 12 because that's the same width with the desktop desktop breakpoint, right? Awesome. So now select it like this, and you see this stuff over here, variants. Click on it. Now you've created the variants 2. We want to call this tablet. Now the tablet, remember, 810 pixels, that's the width. So select it, the width, we want to make it 810 pixels. And now select the tablets, you'd see variant again. Click variants. Now I want to call variants 3. I want to call it phone. Now for phone, we need two different variants because there's a variant for closed and then there's a variant for when it is open. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So phone now, this is the closed variant because you can't see the links. And if you click on this button here, this is the open variant. So we need two different variants for the closed state and the open state. So let's go back here. So let's call this phone. Let's call this the closed one. Phone. Let's open a bracket and just do, so we keep things organized, closed like this. Of course, phone, the width is not 810, it is 390. So name this, call this 390 like this. As you can see, it looks weird. Now I forgot to do something here. I forgot to hide this menu button in the desktop. So it's not supposed to show here. So we'll go back to the desktop variant. Select it like this. Obviously, select the menu button wrapper. That's the one wrapping the menu, not the icon itself. And we're going to come back here under styles. We'll make it visible. No. Now you can't see it in desktop. You can't see it in tablet. That's what we want. But now in mobile, you can still see it because you made it, not visible in the primary variant. But we want to now make it visible in this particular variant. So select it, as you can see over here, under the logo and menu wrapper. This is the phone closed, as you can see, if you look very well. That's why I always advise to use layer panel. So this is the phone closed. Select the menu button, that's the menu, the stack wrapping the button, the icon. And then we're going to come back to styles and we're going to make this overflow visible and visible like this. As you can see, the button is showing in the mobile right now, and that's what we want. So it's not showing in desktop, it's not showing in tablet, but it's showing in mobile. Now what we want here now is, like I said, we want it top down. We don't want it side by side because it's a smaller, brick point. So we want the top down layout. So we can select that container. That's the one wrapping the left and the right content. If you remember, the container, right now it is aligned horizontally. We want to make it aligned vertically, direction. So select it, come back here. This is direction, it's horizontal, I'll make it vertical, right? Now it still looks far from what, we want to achieve. That is very normal. So now select the logo and the link, this one, the menu wrapper. Logo and the menu, that's the one wrapping the name and the menu. So if you look at it here, this is what it is. We want to make it fill container. So right now it's currently fit and it's just in the middle. So we want to make it fill container and apply a distribute property, space between, so you can push the logo to the far left and push the menu icon to the far right. Right, so now we're going to do that right now. So while this is selected, come over here. Would make the width, instead of fit, we want to make it fill. So it will fill up the available space. And then we'll scroll down to distribute. Instead of center, it's currently center, would make it space between. Nice. So now we have the logo on the left and then the link on the far right. Now you can see that the work is still stacked horizontally. So we're going to change that to vertical. To select the wrapper wrapping the works. Remember, this is the links. This is what's wrapping this whole text over here. So now instead of direction, horizontal, I'll make it vertical like this. See that we're getting somewhere right now. We just need to add a little more space here and there to make everything look more spaced out. So select the container. Right now it's currently set to distribute space between, but we don't want it to be space between again because just want it to be stacked on top of each other. We want to specify the amount of space we want to have between the logo and the button, the menu button, and then the links. So we don't want space between again, we want start. So we'd make it start beautiful like this. And now under gap, now we can specify the amount of gap we want. Because if we use space between, we can't specify amount of gap. It just works with the container itself. But now we can specify the amount of gap. Right now it's 10. We want to make that maybe, let's do 48. Yeah, this is what it's going to look like. And obviously this is mobile. We want a smaller padding on the left and the right so that everything looks more minimal. So select the whole wrapper, that's the navigation itself. Now in padding, it's currently 20 top, 40 right, 40 left, 20 bottom. So we just want 20 on all sides. Instead of right 40, we make that 20, and left we make that 20 as well. That's it. Right now, this is supposed to be the closed. Remember, in the closed, we don't want these links to show. We want it to only show when it is open. So we're going to click the links like this, the wrapper, come back here to visible, and we're going to make it visible no. Awesome. So this now is the closed state, the closed nav for mobile. So now select the closed one, click on variant. Now you're creating the open variant. So let's call this phone open brackets, open like this. So now while it is open, you want to now make that link visible, right? So select it, open this container. Now see the links here. You can see that it's grayed out. So select it, come back here, and then make the visible. Yes, beautiful. Now this is what it looks like. This is the closed state. This is the open state. Now, of course, for the open state, you want an X icon to indicate that, okay, you have to hit the X to close it. So it can go back to this closed button, if that makes sense. So select the icon, come over here. Now, instead of menu, we want to make it, let's do close. Let's search for close. Yeah, beautiful. Now, let's use this icon over here. Awesome. So now this is the closed phone. This is the open phone. So it's exactly going to work like this. If I click on this button, it's going to open this. If I close it, it's going to close it. Now let's go back. Now one thing I have to do right now is I have to connect it. Now remember when I had to wrap that icon in that stack? I'll show you the reason why now. So right now, I'm supposed to connect this button to this state and then connect this button to this state. So when you click it, it's going to interchange. So now select the icon. So now, if I select the icon inside this stack, instead of the stack, I can't connect it to this guy, to this open variant. You understand? Because it's just an icon. So if I select the stack wrapping the icon, now you can see this stuff here that looks like a lightning icon. You can just click on it and drag to this guy. Just leave it like that, it should work, right? And then come over here back, select this icon, select the wrapper wrapping the icon, not just the icon. So now you see this lightning, this thing again. Now you can just click and drag to this guy. Beautiful. Now this should work as it's supposed to work. So now if I select this and I click on this play icon, I can preview the animation. So I just click on it. If I select it like this, you'll see that it works the way it should. Oops, I forgot to change the text to what it's supposed to be. But there's no problem. I don't have to change it individually in all the variants. I can just change it in the main desktop variant, and it's going to apply to the main primary variant. It's going to apply to the other tablet and the phone variant. So work, I think, about and contact, right? So let's just change this to about, contact. Awesome. As you can see, it has updated here as well. That is what we want. So now that we've done the nav completely, we want to go back to the home page. Click on home like this. Now this is the complete nav. So one thing we want to do is we want to drag this nav inside the desktop variant. So we can either do it from here or we can do it from the layers panel. So to be easier from the layers panel, so just select it like this and drag inside this desktop over here, just like that. Right now it's at the bottom, but we don't want it to be at the bottom, we want it to be at the top. So we're going to use our arrow key. So use your arrow up to go up like that, and that's pretty much it. So if you can look now, you can see the nav inside the desktop. It looks weird, of course. Now you have to make the nav fixed, the position. The reason because you want the nav to stay at the top of the viewport while you scroll. So let me show you an example. So right now, this nav is set to fixed. And how you would know that is as I scroll, it's just there. It's not moving from there. It's just there. That's what I want, right? So select this one, change the position from relative to fixed. Nice. And now, as you can see, there's still this weird space on the left and the right. So we want to change that. So if you look at this position over here, there is no space between the nav and the top of the viewport. That's okay. That's what we want. Now we don't want space on the left and on the right. So we're going to select here 0. Right? Select here again and make it 0. So now what this means is there is 0 space on the left, 0 space on the right, and on the top. You can leave the bottom. It doesn't really matter. So right now, this is what the nav looks like. So if you preview this and you scroll up, so as you can see, the nav is working. So there's a weird issue here. You can see that this conceptual work is coming on top of the nav. Now this is where the index coming, right? We want to make this on top of every other thing on the page because that's what we want on top. So go back to here. All the nav is selected. You have to scroll down under style, see the index. This is where you're going to increase the height, not the height, but like increase the position, make it on top of every other thing on the same page, right? So we're going to increase the index to about 10. That's like ultimate thing we want on top. So right now, if I preview it, you can never see that issue again because now it's on top every other thing. So as you can see, conceptual work is now under the nav. That's what we want. So now this desktop is good. You go back to tablet, select it. Now under variant, we want to change the variant from desktop to tablet. Beautiful. And now for phone, select phone. Now we'll change the variant over here. Select it from tablet, from desktop, select phone closed. That's what we want. We've already done the animation so that when you select this, the open variant is going to show up. So open this like this, preview it, and then let's see if it works. Perfect. It works as it should. Awesome. Now let's quickly move on to the last section. Let me show you that. So this is what it looks like. Again, a side-by-side layout, very simple. I'm just going to rush through this one because we've done literally the same thing in all of these places, right? So one thing I want to do now is I'll go back here. So right now I can just duplicate this section because it already has all the padding I want. I don't want to have to apply padding again. So I can save all the time in the world and just select the about section, Ctrl D to duplicate, that's it. And then just change the content inside this container. We don't want the same content, of course, and we have to rename it as well. So select the about section. Instead of about section, we have to call this contact section. Like this. Now we want this layout like this. We have this form on the right, and we have this text, and then this text and the links on the left. So yeah, we're going to do just that right now. So if you look at this, this is similar to what we have here. So we're just going to copy this guy. So if you look at it here, this is the stack containing these two text. So we're going to copy it, Ctrl C, select the container, this container that is wrapping about me and this, right content. I'm going to paste it inside. Don't worry about it, don't fear. We're going to delete this so that everything makes sense. So now we have side-by-side layout as well. So all we have to do is just add in the form, right? So one thing we can do is go to the insert panel on the top, and then you see forms over here. Hover on it and then form builder. You're just going to drag this inside that container like this. Sorry for the break in transmission. I had to go and sort out some things. So right now we have to delete this about me button over about me text because we don't need that. Now you see we're getting close to this side by side layout, only that the form is on the right and then the text is on the left. So we're going to just swap that, select this here, the stack holding this text, and then use your arrow key to move it to the other side. So arrow left, nice, that's it. Now this is weird because this is taking up too much space. So one thing we want to do is we want to select the form. As you can see, this is the form over here, and this is like the wrapper, wrapping everything. So this is the form. We want to change this, the width from fixed to fill. Beautiful. Now this is what it's supposed to look like. As you can see, we're getting close to, something similar here. So there's this field, subject, and then there's the message field. So let's quickly do that right now. So we're going to select email, and then you can see label. This is the wrapper, wrapping the text and then the input. So select label and then duplicate like this. Awesome. We don't need this location drop down, so we're going to delete it. So select the email. We want to change this text over here. Let's open up, change the text over here. I want to change it to subject. Nice. And then select the input itself. You can see the style over here, the color, the placeholder. You can change all of this if you want. And then the fill, you can also change that as well. See the inputs, everything here. So the name, the type, email. We don't want email, we want just a text. So select the drop down, text, right? And then the name should be subject, because if you don't change this name over here to subject, you would not see subject in the front. So now if this is subject like this and the person writes the subject over here, what you would see when the person submits the form is subject and then the subject. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you can test it out actually and see how it works, right? And then you can make it required. Let's remove this placeholder, we don't want it. Nice. Then the next thing is this message field. So select the subject, sit here, select it over here, Control D to duplicate. So we want to call this message. Now select the input field itself, come over here. Now instead of text, we want to do text area, so that you can type as much text as you want and still see what you're typing. And now the name, now it's not supposed to be subject because now this is message. So we're going to name this message like this. Should it be required? Yes or no? Resizable? Yes or no? So that when they type, the form increases based on the amount of text they have typed in. Yes or no? Anyone you want, you can add that as well. So now we have done this form. Now let's just make this button this color and this shape so that everything looks complete. So right now this is the button. So one thing we can do, this is a component, so we can just double click the components like this, and then we'll go straight to the form button component. So this is what it is. So one thing we have to do is just change the color of this guy to, let's see, the color here. So we're going to copy this hex code, go back here and paste it like this. Awesome. Now change the color of the text to black so that there's contrast. Beautiful. So now this is a very rounded text, so we're going to make this rounded as well. So select it, come over here, radius, and then make this maybe 100. So you just round it off properly. Nice. So now this is pretty much it. However, this hover is weird. Let me show you. So if I preview this, select and click on this play icon, see how the hover looks very off. So we want to change the hover color to something better. So come over here to make the fill, the hover color. We want to change it to the same color with the primary. That's the default. But then want to add, maybe a small darkness. Nice. So that's it. And then this is the pressed. So like when you hover on it and when you press it, another color should show. But for this pressed, I would rather just prefer it has the same color with the default. I'll just paste that color over here like this. So that when I preview it again, as you can see, the hover is better now. And when I press it, everything looks good. Nice. So now let's go back to the home page. As you can see, we're getting close to what we are looking for. See that this button is half. It's not filling the container, so we can make it fit content. We can make it fit content like this. As you can see, it looks much more better. Now let's focus on the left part of the whole design. So this is let's connect. So we'll just copy that and then I'll paste it over here like this. Then we have this see hello at blah blah blah. So I'm just going to select see hello at, and then he has this name, this email over here. Copy it and I'm going to just paste it like this. And now select this, duplicate it for the next one. So for more info, copy, paste. Here's my resume. So these are supposed to be buttons. I'll show you how to link them right now. So we want to make the space between this first text and the second text closer. So while that's selected, right click and add stack. You can reduce the gap from 10 to about 6, just like that. Beautiful. Now let's add the links right away because we're already here. So see hello at. So we want this email here to be clickable. You can just highlight the text like this, and then you can see link on the top of the layer of the property panel rather. So you can just do link to, select, and then you can paste the link you want it to go to here. So let's just do freema.com like that. And one thing you can do again, you can edit the link. So by default, they'll just make the link blue. But if you want to make it have line like this, it's quite simple as well. So just select the link again, come back to style, select style, and then you can just edit. So this is where you can edit it. Click on edit, and now the color, you can still make it white. There's no problem with that. But now you can add some decoration. So now underline, you can do underline. It's already underlined. Now you have to just add color for underline over here. So let's just add something like this. That's it. So now the color, this is the hover. So right now the underline will only show on hover, but we want it to show on the default. So as you can see, this is default, this is hover. So go back to decoration as well. Underline, see that there's line under here right now. Then we can just change the color to this, go back, and then can add thickness if you want to, make it 1, and that's it. So you can play with this link how you want to play with them. The hover color is blue, underline is there, and you can do a current. All of these things you'd understand as you like keep building with Framer, of course. So you can do the same thing for here. Actually, the link would apply by default. The styling of this one would apply to this one by default. So select the resume, link it to let's do www.x.com. So by default, see that this same style you apply to this email link has applied to the resume. So right now it looks more like what we have here. And now you can see there is this link here, so we can easily just copy and paste. So remember we did something similar in the home page. So just select this wrapper, wrapping the links. copy it like this, and then just come here, select this wrapper, this left content stack, and then just Control V to paste inside like this. So obviously there are other links here which I'm just going to ignore because of time. You can just easily select and then duplicate and select and then just change them over here. Right, so now you see something one more. You can see this stuff over here. So now there are different ways to achieve this. There are simpler ways and there are more complicated ways. I'll show you the simplest way to do this. So one thing you can do is you can just copy this guy, copy one of this text over here, and then paste it inside here. Now obviously this is taking up space as this form and as this left content, but we don't want that, so we'll have to change the positioning. We'll have to change the type from relative to absolute. So right now it's not taking up any space, so one thing we can do is we can just align it to the bottom left. So you just align bottom and align like this. This is the fast way to go about this. Let's change the text to what we have here. Nice. You can make this smaller as well. Now this might be problematic in the other breakpoints, but we can still work around it. But this is what it looks like. So this is the fast way. The slowest way would have been to add another stack, add this, and then make the height fill container, and then make the height space between. That's the distribute, if you know what I mean. But I'm not about to waste your time and teach you longer process, right? So now let's go and make it responsive. Of course, now it looks good in tablets. It looks good in tablets, but it definitely will not look as good in mobile. So as you can see, mobile still looks okay. It looks preferable, but now this text over here is just, very close to this button, and we don't want that. So one thing we can do is select the text, change it from absolute to relative. Beautiful. Now it is taking up normal space as it should. So now we have something coherent and something simpler. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me preview this and show you guys what everything looks like. So right now, if I preview this, you can see that everything works as it should. And then there's this form and everything looks nice and very responsive. And if I resize this to check for responsiveness, everything works just fine. And as they should. The nav is working. Everything is responsive. And yeah, so once you're satisfied everything is responsive and good to go, you can just hit publish over here. So make sure everything is pushed live. Beautiful. Now this is published to the internet. So you can easily just preview that with this link over here. And as you can see, this is your site live on the internet. This is the domain Framer gives you. I covered how to now connect a custom domain inside of Framer. So this is what it looks like live on the web. You can definitely do more than this inside of Framer. This is just for the purpose of a tutorial, right? And this is how it looks. And that wraps part 2 up. If you're following this content, please subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. These videos take a very long time to drop a comment. Let me know what you'd like me to improve on. If it's like the audio quality, the screen recording quality, whatever it is, do let me know in the comment section. In the part 3, would cover, interactions, would cover animations, because there's a lot you can do with Framer apart from just, dragging blocks and dropping here and there. You can add very, very sleek interactions in Framer. So I would cover all of that in the part 3. And then obviously in the part 4, we can now link things up, where this button goes to, scroll effect, scroll section, all of that stuff, right? So that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.